To start off this silver smoky eye, I'm going in on the Lorac Pro 2 palette and using a Morphe 441 brush. I'm taking the shade Nectar and really focusing that on the outer corner, and then once my brush has a little bit less product, I will blend it more to the inner corner. And I'm even going to take that shadow down onto my bottom lash line just because I want the outer shape of this eyeshadow to be more rounded instead of pointed, because we're not going in and using any winged eyeliner or anything, so I am bringing the shadow down onto my lower lash line. And then using this shade Cool Gray, I'm going to pack that right where I put the shade Nectar, except a little bit lower. And again, I'm going to focus this mainly on the outer corner, and then once I have less product, I will blend it more towards the inner corner. And I'm also bringing this down onto the lower lash line. And so the first shade we used was really the only warm tone I used in this makeup look, just because it is a cool toned silver smoky eye. And so I'm just going in with shades of gray and layering that on to just really blend it out more, but that warm tone underneath will just bring the look all together. And then I'm using Charcoal from the palette, and this is just a shade darker than the Cool Gray, and I am again doing the same exact thing with this color, just blending it in the outer corner, and then once I have less product, bringing it in and just having two different gray shades and then going on with the black later on will again just give it so much more dimension. And yeah, so now using the black from the palette, I'm using a Morphe 433 brush, which is basically the same as the 441 brush, just a little bit more precise. And I'm just using that, or packing it into my outer corner. And I'm being so much more precise with this color just because blacks are scary to work with. So I'm just packing it on and then going in and blending it out. And I even go back in with the black multiple times, blend it out more, go back in with the black, blend it out more, just so that I can get it as dark as I want to get it. Now for the lid, I'm taking the shades Chrome and Silver, and I'm just mixing those two together and placing that on the inner part of my lid with a flat synthetic brush. And I even go in and wet my brush with some eye drops, which I didn't show here, but yeah, I pack that on, and then I'll take my Morphe 443 brush again, which still has a little bit of that black left over, but no additional product. And I'll just blend out the center just to make sure they blend seamlessly. Then taking this NYX Roll-On Shimmer in the shade Walnut, I will roll some of this onto my finger and then pat that over where we just put the silver and chrome shades, just because my finger gives me so much more control, but this just gives a little bit of added glitter. Now I am using my Goddess lashes by the brand Koko lashes and just popping those on. And then I am going to line my waterline with this Rimmel Exaggerate waterproof eye define, blah blah blah, and black is black. Any black eyeliner will do. And then I will go in and set it and just thicken up the line with the black shadow from the Lorac Pro 2 palette, which is the same shadow we use on the outer corner. And just really pack that on, going all the way into my inner corner. And then I will go in and blend it out with the Cool Gray shade and just on a more fluffy brush. Now I forgot to film a clip of my inner corner and brow bone highlight, but it is the shade Snow from the same Lorac Pro 2 palette. I was just way too in the zone and completely forgot. But yeah, I'm just packing this like really packing it into my inner corner and then just using a little bit less for my brow bone, but I feel like the highlight just ties the look all together. And yeah, I really like the way it turned out. Now to blend my falsies with my real eyelashes, I'm using the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara and just coating that, probably just one coat on my top lashes. And then for bottom lashes, I will go in with the Rimmel London Glam Eyes Mascara, just because this has a much smaller wand, so it makes it so much easier to get to those bottom lashes without getting mascara on my bottom eyelid. Now I've already done my foundation and my brows just because I feel like you've seen me do them so many times, so I don't want to get repetitive. But for contour, I'm using the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and I'm using first this really light shade, the most ashy shade in the palette, in a Real Techniques contour brush, and just carving out my cheekbones. I like to lay down this color first so that I give myself the contour, and then I will go in with the warmer shade in the middle and blend out the contour and add more warmth to my face. We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Then I will take the two lightest shades in the palette and I will just place that right underneath my contour. This is kind of like baking in that it sharpens up your contour, but you just don't leave it on your skin forever and it doesn't look as cakey in my opinion. For highlight, I'm going in with this e.l.f. blush in Pinktastic. This is one of my all-time favorite drugstore highlights. It's a little bit more on the natural side. It's not as stark bright as some other highlights I own, so if you are looking for a more natural highlight or just starting to get into highlighting, I would highly suggest this one because it is more natural and only $3, which you can't even pass up. For blush, I'm going in with this MAC blush in the shade Bless Me, or no, Well Dressed, that's it, in the shade Well Dressed, and it is just a light pink highlight, which I felt like just gave me a nice flush to the cheeks without being too much since the eyes are super heavy. For lip liner, I'm going in with MAC's Whirl lip liner and just filling in my entire lips. This is just going to make my lipstick a little bit darker, which is what I was going for. And for lipstick, I'm using Colourpop's Ultra Matte lipstick in the shade Trap. And this is just a cool toned liquid lipstick, which I felt went great with the cool toned eyes. And lastly, I'm going to set my face with the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. I recently picked this up and I'm obsessed with it. But yeah, that is the finished look. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like or subscribe if you enjoyed the video.